about sports, me and you. Roope and Rumsey is their name. Chat about things from the latest game. Roope and Rumsey.
There it is.
Oh, Roope and Rumsey. It's time for Roope and Rumsey. The boys.
All right. Thank you once again to the magical and powerful Terry Hahn.
Oh, man.
Yes, absolutely. Magical, yes. Well, listen, welcome to the R&R show. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best little sports show ever. I'm your host, Michael Roope, and my co-host, William Rumsey.
Howdy.
Hello, William. All right, today we are going to go over our top 7 athletes that made you sit and stop what you're doing to watch whatever they are doing. This list was a lot of fun. I mean, brought back a lot of great memories. While we do this, I want you guys to think at home, what 7 athletes made you stop what you're doing to watch them perform? Because for me, this list was, I think, one of my most fun lists we've done so far. So
I think I kept seeing you glare over at my.
Right. Well, listen.
Absolutely
not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, who do you got at number 7, buddy?
I have the Spider, Anderson Silva.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes.
That's interesting that you pick an MMA fighter, and I'll tell you why. But go ahead. What did you like about Anderson?
Yeah, so he had the longest UFC title championship reign in history. 7 years, 16 consecutive wins. But I, just on a personal level, I remember so many, when he would fight, so many Saturday nights waiting around in bars with my buddies, waiting for him to fight at about midnight.
Yep.
And it was just, every time he would fight, it was electric.
Yep.
He was a showman. I mean, the way he defeated people was just awesome. But that's why he's my number 7.
So, just to piggyback off you, and by the way, great number 7. I wasn't expecting that. My number 7, piggybacking off the MMA, was one Tank Abbott.
Oh,
the original bad
Tank.
boy, the original guy that
Yes.
made you get to your seat watching it. I believe he, debuted maybe in the 3rd, MMA fights ever. And boy, if you guys don't know who Tank Abbott is watching this, watch it, because that he was entered when it was barbaric.
Yeah.
No holds barred.
Yeah.
And he wasn't technical. He was looking to do one thing and one thing only, and that was to knock you out. And he wanted to knock you out brutally.
Yeah.
He was. He definitely got people in their seats. I remember, when this whole thing started. We were actually up at Ball State, and man. I would get those Tank Abbott, I'd get the fights, and when Tank Abbott was on the card, I was glued watching that, and a lot of people were.
he just reminded me of a guy you would find at your local pub throwing down.
Absolutely.
That's why I think he just I remember him when it was Dan Severn, Hoist Gracie, all those guys at the beginning of UFC, and you hit the nail. Very barbaric.
Yeah, and man, I really love the early goings of MMA when it was just it was no holds barred. There was a lot of and he embodied that.
He did.
But go ahead. What's your number 6?
Number 6, the Ferrari, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh wow! Near and dear to my heart. Love the Ferrari. What do you love about him?
Obviously he is new to the scene.
Yep.
He doesn't have years under his belt where I'm like, oh damn, I got to sit down and watch this guy. But he is, for me, appointment viewing. Whenever I can watch him.
That's a good one. Very good.
He'll probably, I would say, over the next couple of years, he's going to move higher on my list.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll overtake number 1 on my list, but he could very well go into number 2.
That's
just
a really
extraordinary talent. Excited to see what he's going to do in the future.
That's a great a great person to be on the list. He didn't even make my list, but unbelievable.
Again,
the first 2 that are not on my list. But that being said, Great. He does. He gets me glued
Yeah.
to the TV also. My number 6 is Tiger Woods.
Oh,
Tiger Woods. For me, he changes your viewing habits on a Sunday. If he's in contention, I don't care who you are, you will then flip over to whoever's hosting the golf event, and you will watch him.
He might be a little higher on the better list over here.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. But for me, Tiger Woods absolutely will make you watch. I mean, the things he does and the way he puts pressure on golfers when he's in contention is unparalleled. I mean, he definitely he gets me to my seat and gets me to that TV.
Yeah, I mean, last year's Masters, you and I were talking back and forth, texting back and forth through that whole. I mean, that Masters was just electric.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't put into words like what that just did.
And people in that final group, they got to feel what it's like to be with Tiger in contention. I mean, it's just he's great for golf. Let's just face it. So, that being said, who do you got at your number 5?
I have Shaquille O'Neal.
That's a good one. I don't have him on my list either.
Man, this is great.
This is good.
We're not matching.
I like
it. Shaquille O'Neal, I mean, I just remember from him starting at LSU. I mean, the excitement around a young Shaquille O'Neal and what he could do on the basketball court at that size, it was
unbelievable.
It was just different to watch.
Yeah.
I had never seen anything like that. And, young Shaq in the NBA getting drafted by the Magic, and then obviously his Lakers career. The younger Shaq for me was like, I would stop what I was doing. Bam, I'm in front of the TV.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They, the Shaquille, I even remember in his LSU days, there was a couple times where he actually took the ball down the floor. And it was just like, for a man that size, you knew he was going to be special. And he definitely was a must-watch. He did make my list, but great pick there.
Thank you.
Number 5 for me was one Randy Moss.
Oh, man.
Man, I tell you what, Randy was electric. He burst onto our scene playing up against Ball State. He had a 5-tutty game against our beloved Cardinals.
The Thundering Herd.
Yes, and he never stopped. I mean, when he was with the Vikings, his first year, I mean, boy, I felt like every game was a big game. Bombs.
Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
Bombs.
Yeah. The Randall just throwing bombs. I remember that, I think it was a Thanksgiving game against Dallas. That first year really cemented him as a star in the league. I mean, he was faster than everybody. He high-pointed the ball better than anybody, and he had the best hands. He was a freak. And the funny thing is we talked about the undefeated Dolphins in a couple segments ago. He had a chance to be undefeated not once but twice with that 15-1 Vikings team, that 98 Vikings team, and then the 2007 Patriots team where he ended up having 23 touchdowns. He was unbelievable. Absolutely my favorite receiver to watch.
I still can't believe the 15-1 Vikings lost to the Falcons.
Yeah.
I hated that more than anything that I didn't get to watch him in the Super Bowl.
Oh, my God. And literally, he could have 2 undefeated seasons on his resume. By far the best receiver.
And I think his greatest accomplishment was making Kerry Collins and Dante Culpepper into serviceable quarterbacks.
Relevant, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and when you saw, once he got a great quarterback with him, and this was even later in his career with Tom Terrific, you saw what he did. He did 23 tutties. So, unbelievable. But that being said, what do you got for your number 4?
I have the Sheriff, Peyton Manning.
Not on my list either. That's good. That's good that our lists vary like that. But what do you love about Peyton?
So I actually hate watched Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I'm obviously Bengals fan, and I lived in Indianapolis for a big part of Peyton's. I was at Ball State, and then I lived in Indianapolis through a big part of Peyton's career, and all my buddies were Colts fans. And we would, going to B-dubs every Sunday, watching Colts and Bengals. They would put the Colts on every television, and they would relegate the Bengals to this shitty TV in the corner. Yeah. But just watching...
Probably a little black and white, huh?
Yeah. And just watching Peyton orchestrate a game was just... It was like... It was poetry.
You know, you've made this this kind of comparison. Everybody else is playing checkers while he's playing chess, and that definitely rings true with Peyton.
Yeah.
Nobody controlled the game like Peyton, and you know, he's definitely a master. But that's a good pick.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So number 4 for me was Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. That's a great pick.
I don't care what you were doing during Bo's reign. You watched Bo Jackson.
He's on the wall.
He is on my wall of fame. Bo Jackson, for me, his star shined so bright for the years that he actually competed. And too bad it got cut short by no less than the Bengal. Do you know what? Trivia time. What Bengal ended Bo Jackson's career?
Was it Lewis Billups?
It was not Lewis Billups.
Was that a good guess?
No. Terrible guess. It was Kevin Walker. Kevin Walker ended the Bo Jackson's career.
You're older than me. That was before my time.
And I'm telling you, Bo Jackson for me was literally he was a god. I mean, you know, the Bo Knows commercials. Everybody loved Bo. He's starting with the Monday night game against Seattle and the infamous Brian Bosworth. If you were, I remember watching that as a kid, and boy, electric. And this just shows you how great Bo was. I mean, he would show up. He didn't even have any practices after he would finish his stint with the Royals. He would come into the Raiders, nothing, just no practice, no nothing, and he would dominate. But when he was at bat for the Royals, snapping the bats over his knee.
Yeah.
But to just show you how great Bo was, that last year that he ended up getting hurt, heck, he averaged 6.8 yards a carry, almost 7 yards a carry in NFL.
And back then, when defenses weren't geared to pass the ball every down.
Unbelievable talent. I mean, I don't care what I was doing. Bo Jackson, for me, unbelievable to watch.
Well, the picture up here is the one that was on Beckett, where he's in his
the iconic
shoulder pads and baseball bat. That actually, I remember when that picture came out, that made me want to play football.
Yeah.
I had never played football before. Now, granted, my career was about one season, I think.
Okay.
But it did. I was a pipsqueak.
Yeah.
But it made me want to get on the football
field.
I
mean, and watching him even like in the outfield climbing the walls.
It was just.
Bo was a must-see.
He was a different level athlete.
He was a must-see. So who do you got? I'm glad we got our list different.
Yeah.
What do we got at number 3?
The GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady.
You're gonna hate me. That's not on my list either.
Tom Brady's
not
on
my list.
How is Tom Brady not on your list?
Listen,
I thought he'd be number 1.
Well, Tommy, listen, this is I stop what I'm doing to watch him. But hey, what do you love about Tom?
What's not to love?
Yes.
No, but I started watching him. I remember at my fraternity watching his first Super Bowl championship, just watching him win that. And then I pretty much my whole adult life, I've watched him win games on Sunday afternoons. Again, just like Patrick Mahomes, appointment viewing on that couch on Sundays.
Oh, yeah. Tom.
And Sunday nights and Monday nights, Thursday nights. Just anytime he plays, I'm like...
And there was a lot of prime
I'm watching
time
that
games.
dude play. I might have watched... I mean... I'd say as far as football players, I've probably watched... Well, no, they're Bengals. No. All right, but he's great.
Listen, I think it's safe to say Tommy Terrific makes both of us blush because of his greatness. You know, I know that you're drawn to him with his hair in his early days.
And then even continuing this year, going to Tampa Bay, that's going to make me want to watch him even more.
Tampa Bay will be a must watch. But again, Tom Terrific, I love him. Again, it's a must watch.
I can't believe he's not on your list.
He's not